anchor storytelling in relation to AI is the thing that helps us get to so what. So when I was at Google, had a really cool 20% project. So 20% projects are this really cool thing that Google do where they give some employees, like if you're doing well in your job and you're hitting your numbers, you can get 20% of your time to work on another project. It really spun out of the engineering org and is responsible for things like Gmail. Gmail came from a 20% project. My 20% project I saw advertised on our internal jobs board, and it was to welcome people on their first day. It was called a Noogler Champ, because if you're a new Googler, you're a Noogler. And I was working in the Sydney office, and it was the best 20% job. So every other Monday, I would start my week by welcoming anywhere from 5 to 35 people into the organization. And they might be coming in as an intern, they might be coming in as a director of a department. I got to meet so many wonderful people. And the first thing we did in that session was, razz them up and go, it's so good you're here. Who knows the mission of Google? Who knows Google's mission? And so I had to be able to rattle off from memory that Google's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And I thought about it in the context of AI a lot of the work that we've done to say between Google and the other tech companies out there, we now have access to the world's information on our phones, in our pockets, on our laptops. It's pretty organized and arguably useful if you can navigate it. So if everyone has the same access to that information, isn't that kind of overwhelming? So we have to use some way to make it make sense or make it meaningful. And that when I think about how we can work with large language models or tools that use large language models, we have to really think about what story are we trying to tell? Who are we speaking to? And how can we communicate in a way that is going to go from overwhelming to meaningful, to something that's tailored for someone, and that you're really communicating the message that you're trying to get across. And one of the ways that I think AI can help us do this is to play the role of the different audience members that we might be preparing a communication for. So one of the prompts that I use a bit is to find the story in whatever I might be looking at. So say you had a data set, or you had a whole list of a common one for me, I've used this for customer reviews. So then you could use a prompt like, analyze the following data set for trends and patterns. What is the single most important story that emerges from this data? Highlight key insights or statistics that illustrate this central theme and suggest a clear message I can share with my stakeholders. And if you want to go one better, name your stakeholders. Give the role. I'm talking to the CEO. I'm talking to the marketing manager. I'm talking to a new intern who's just joined our business, who has maybe, this is their first job. Giving the context of who you're speaking to can really help.